What's going on, boys, and welcome on in. Today I promised y'all a dedicated video for right here, the custom mystic summon, so we'll talk all about that. I got a quick PSA and disclaimer to make before we get into it, but hopefully you guys are enjoying the new Awaken update. I know some people are maybe not super happy about this or that, but overall, all the free stuff we're getting. By the way, guys, that hunt event, the 3 heroes, we get all 3 of them. So Smilegate is being pretty generous with stuff. I didn't even open, I don't think, my 5-star, oh, I did actually on stream earlier, the 5-star book and the 5-star artifact book. We get mystic check-in, so there's a lot of stuff that's really good. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it to a certain extent, and I have a video talking about specifically the Mola event here, as well as the hunt event. There are a few like tips and tricks you can use to accelerate getting this these challenges done, okay? But that'll be for a separate video. Let's get on to the custom mystic summon, because I wanted to wait until this was live to confirm that Conqueror Lilias would be on there. As per their text on the screen, if you did the correct dating, a lot of people thought she wasn't gonna be here, but it is as they described, so she will be available. Yeah, I'm gonna go over my top 3 picks. I have 3 clear-cut winners, in my opinion, and then 2 honorable mentions. But boys, this is my first disclaimer. A lot of these units, if not most of all of them, are very good, okay? In the grand scheme of things, all these units are viable, with maybe an exception of 1 or 2 that just, you know, maybe too tough to gear, haven't had enough balance patch, whatever it might be. So don't get offended if I leave your favorite unit out of here. This is just to get the most bang for your buck, in my opinion, along with a few honorable mentions, okay? My second PSA, guys, is unless you have 10,000 mystics saved up, be careful summoning on this banner. All right, this is why this, in my opinion, the custom and the custom group drop rate up banners were not as big of a win as I wanted them to be for a vast majority of players, especially newer ones. But the reason is, if you don't have 10,000 mystic medals to guarantee, if you get unlucky, to buy the unit straight out with coins, you might be SOL. You might be completely out of luck. Because let's say, for example, you have 9,000 mystics saved up. You get super unlucky. That's 180 summons worth. You're missing 20 coins and you're just out. You can't swipe, you're free to play, whatever it might be. You're just out and the event is about to end. Guys, those 180 summons, unlike the normal banner, that won't carry over to here where you have 20 summons left for the guaranteed summon, right? Your mystic summon pity will not move at all, and these effective coins that you used are essentially wasted. So one of the major downsides of this, guys, but if you don't mind gambling, which I wouldn't recommend because you might get burned real bad and that's going to feel so terrible. I guess, you know, do what you want. It is what it is, but I would really recommend trying to save up as hard as you can, hustle as hard as you can, and maybe if you can't reach 10,000, just set aside a small amount of number and try your luck. But those of you that are able to get 10,000, shop refresh like crazy, use that check-in event, finish up any abyss floors, and save up 10,000 so you can get some of these heroes I'm going to recommend, okay? Enough talk. Sorry, it's for the long intro. Let's get into it. Alrighty, guys, so assuming you know the risks of not having 10,000 mystics, and assuming you watch my disclaimer on the power levels of these heroes, let's go ahead and talk about my top 3 picks. Let's go ahead and lead off with the latest one here, Conqueror Lilias, guys. She'll be one of the first, not necessarily in order, but I might rate them at the end if I decide to. Conqueror Lilias is definitely one of my top 3 picks for selection here. The case should be clear. You guys have heard about her by now, and the fact that she's in here is very nice. One of the best openers, insanely powerful, and you're gonna notice a trend between the top 3 heroes that I recommend, and that's they can be drafted. We're gonna talk mostly RTA, but I'll mention a few Arena, Guild Wars, and maybe PvE, but most of these heroes will not be insane for PvE, right? We have way better options for PvE stuff usually because you can cater them specifically for that, but for PvP purposes, especially real-time arena, these units that I'm going to recommend, and Conqueror Lilias is no exception, can be just picked in almost a way where they're always good. You don't have to worry too much about what your opponent's picking. You can lead off with them, and they're just always going to make your team better. Conqueror Lilias might have an exception with the rise of like Lionheart Sirmia, but that's more of a separate scenario for more advanced play at the higher ranks. Conqueror Lilias, for the most part, is just always strong. Yeah, maybe with unbuffable and stuff like that, her opening potential is a little bit less, but she is still played to an insane rate at higher levels of PvP. She's insane in Arena, Guild Wars, and real-time arena. She's fast. She provides an undispellable vigor buff, which can stack with attack up. She's great as a control unit as well with her provoke, survivability with barrier or artifacts, such as the, what do you call it? The one that gives a random buff. I'll find the name for it in a sec, guys. I'll put it on the screen. My mind is blanking. And then she brings some offensive potential potential as well if you bring powerful powerful S1 units along with her, or just anything really. If she pulls control units, you can get stuns. Her kit is just overloaded. She's insanely good right now, and I don't expect her to go anywhere. So this is a clear-cut top pick if you don't have access to her, and I would lean more towards her if you don't think you have a strong opener for your team yet. Think of units like Para, for example. If you don't like her, maybe didn't get her, Conqueror Lilias I think is very, very good if you lack attack buffers as well. So speaking of attack buffers, let's jump straight up to the next unit on the list. Mediator Kawerik will be another one of my top 3. So this guy, boys, this is what I summoned for on his banner. I've been waiting for him forever. He used to be bad, but they overloaded his buffs and didn't have a banner with it, so a lot of us were sad, but now they're giving you a lot of access to him. He is one of the best utility units in the game. He is absolutely busted because it is very hard to lock him down, which, by the way, is a little selling point for Conqueror Lilias, guys. She's one of the few units that has a 2-turn provoke, which Mediator Kawerik, if you weren't aware, let me find out here. Built in, he has so much stuff built in, guys. I have to pinpoint where the buffs are coming from. But when he has S3 available, his cooldown count at the start of the turn, he decreases debuff duration of himself by 1 turn. So 1 turn stuns, 1 turn provokes. You can't lock him down. 1 turn silences can't stop him. You need 2-turn debuffs that will stop him from doing his job, and those are few and far between. So he has a full dispel, guys, full attack up and immunity, which is huge. That's a hard combo to come by on a unit like this. And he also has so much CR push built into his skill 3, built into his skill 1, both for himself and for an ally, guys. The best thing about, before I finish that sentence, his S2 obviously very busted as well, does good damage because of his scaling, decreases attack, so and grants a barrier. It does everything that you could think of. The best way to think of Kawerik, not just as one of the best cleansers, if not the best cleanser, he takes the job of a lot of soul weavers because he improves survivability through the use of barriers. He has combat readiness push. It's options, guys. You will find when you use this man that every match you play, especially real-time arena, every turn he takes, you have so many options and they're all good. He's hard to control. You'll always have reliability. You'll have a stable attack up, survivability unit that can also support the team through the use of combat readiness and debuffs, and you can decide when you want to activate that attack up in immunity, when you need to stop a problem unit with decreased attack, like Little Queen Charlotte, for example, or when you want to skill push up. Let's say you're trying to speed contest somebody, your Kawerik is first, they have an opposing unit next, but your unit following that is right behind. You can push that unit up, guaranteed, no RNG involved. Whoever's next on the bar gets pushed up due to Kawerik's skill 1. He's super good, guys. I might be a little bit biased because I just got him and I'm talking about him a lot, but he is definitely worth your consideration as well. All right, the third pick, guys, in my opinion, has to be Apocalypse Ravi. A lot of y'all know her already. She's been OP for a long time. She's gone through some stages where units like maybe Hua Young have knocked her down a peg, but people have adapted and built her tankier with Proof of Valor, for example. She's still one of the best units, the best, in my opinion, the perfect bruiser. Maybe Hua Young might take that title now, but she is, I still think she holds that title of the perfect bruiser, okay? She has self-survivability, self-CR push, injury built into the skill 1, which is very, very impactful. This was actually way more impactful than a lot of people predicted. Super easy to gear with a built-in crit chance. And the skill 3, guys, one of the most insane things. Not only does it scale up in damage, so the longer the match goes, she can guarantee she gets that revive. Revive in itself is super powerful, and they get a 100% combat readiness push and skill nullifier. Boys, this is better than Ruel's revive, Maid Chloe's revive, for example. There's some differences, of course. Maid Chloe being AoE revive, Ruel being invincibility plus full health. But in my opinion, especially if you play a little more aggressive, the fact that they get pushed up 100% and get protected as well usually means the unit that Apoc Ravi has so much more impact on the field than, for example, like Maid Chloe's revive. So she's just insanely good. You can draft her almost all the time. Pre-Hua Young, you could draft her literally everywhere. Now you have to be a little bit careful because they can one-shot her if you don't have protection or Proof of Valor or are super tanky. But she's still an amazing bruiser, one of the easiest units to just carry you in all sorts of content, guys. So in my opinion, let's round it up again. Kawerik, cleansing situation, Silius opener plus vigor buff situation, and then A Ravi would be just a standard. If you don't have that kind of anchor, guys, if you don't have that solid damage dealer, you go for A Ravi. So luckily for the 3 choices, they all fulfill different roles. So I don't think I need to rate them in order. You take a bruiser damage dealer. She can also work in cleave as well, by the way, guys. Kawerik if you need a strong cleanser. And then Lilias if you need a strong opener. So try to identify on your account what would help the most. And then from there, just pick your favorite. They're all so strong that I don't think you can make a wrong choice going between the 3. All right? I'll write that list on the screen. Maybe add a little pros and cons if I have time. But other than that, the 2 quick honorable mentions, guys, in my opinion, this was mostly from my Twitch chat. They wanted me to tell y'all Fallen Cecilia, still a god tier unit. One of the best, if still not the best tanks in the game. It's just now that there's a lot more tank options, I think you're better off picking like Ravi or Kawerik, for example, when there's other comparable knights. They might not be as good, but there's a lot of knights that are available that can kind of fulfill her role. And she's also, you know, weak to Operator Cigarette and unbuffable, things like that. The other honorable mention I think should be Belian, one of the other 7 great disasters. Guys, there's units like 80 Meru and Solitary that are also very, very close, but to keep things simple and to make this video shorter, I think Belian FCC are a little bit more impactful. And remember, these are honorable mentions, so these are just the second draft or the second row of picks. But Belian is super good for both injury build and counter build. I always get asked which build is better. For counter build, you're going to want to use that versus aggressive comps and cleave comps. It's going to give, when they try to focus her, the potential to pop off both Elbrus and her counter set, which can definitely turn the match. Injury is much better for Arena and Guild Wars. It's insane there. And if you like to play tankier and grind your opponent down, it's really good with the exception of fighting aggressive comps. So Belian's super good. Just be aware she's banned out in most matches. If your opponent is playing more aggressive or cleaving, you may not get to play with her as much. But a lot of these units on the list will get banned out, pre-banned, since they are so powerful here and there. All right, guys, hopefully that wraps it up. If you have any additional questions, please stop by the live stream or send me a message on Discord, whatever you might need to. Comments section below, as always. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. A lot of content coming. Bye, everybody.